All right, so heading into the top four here, we're gonna switch away from What Am I and go ahead and do MacLogan's game here versus wow. See, I almost just said What Am I again because we did so many What Am I games. MacLogan versus Messiah here in the semifinals for OLS 12. We'll see who's able to advance and take on their opponent here in the finals. If MacLogan does win, as long as WhatAmI is able to win his semifinals match as well, there will be a rematch of MacLogan and WhatAmI in the finals. So we'll see if that's the case. But without further ado, let's go ahead and start game one.
Well, we're not starting off with a mirror match. We are getting War Mothers versus Targon Lee Sin, at least to start things off.
All right, let's go ahead and get into game one here. So again, game one, this is the semifinals. We're going to have MacLogan versus Messiah.
So I'm curious to see how this one plays out, because when we've seen these lineups go head-to-head in the past, we've seen players that ban the Targon Lee Sin, and we've seen players that ban the War Mothers. So generally, the TF Swain is never getting banned out here. So I think that with the openers that we have seen, it does mean that MacLogan banned the War Mothers and Messiah banned the Lee Sin. So, I mean, with that being said, I got to give it to MacLogan that I do think that the War Mothers is the ban when you take this matchup head-to-head.
Yeah, and it looks like MacLogan might have went that route. I mean, we'll have to see what the second deck chosen by Messiah is once we get to another game here. But starting out with the Dream on the side of MacLogan, maybe a little bit too much of the Dream. We have the Wording Stones going into the Aversion Hearthguard if we want, but also two Catalyst of Aeons. Is there ever a position, depending on matchups or whatever, where you actually go for the Catalyst of Aeons here?
I don't think so. Just because it puts you onto turn 7, which is really nothing. It does set you up to... I mean, so the one thing that it does give you is you could Catalyst here, Catalyst next turn, and then play War Mothers. But I don't think that's ever as good as Trundle.
It's like a turbo War Mother strategy there.
Yeah, maybe if you were... I mean, you'd have to be against some kind of, like, hyper late-game non-Ionia deck for that to feel worth it. Which I don't think exists.
Yeah, no, I got to agree with you. So I highly doubt we're going to see that. It looks like we obviously did get the Trundle, as you see there on the board. So that's why I said it maybe a little bit too much there. But the good thing about the Catalyst of Aeons is, it is at least heal for a little bit later in the game. Not sure how useful that is in this matchup in particular, unless we do get some sort of Lee Sin combo that we want to get out of range of at some point. But if we do set up a 20 attack Lee Sin, that ain't going to matter later on in the game.
Oh man, so the Pale Cascade is very obviously here, right?
Yeah.
But what if it's not? What if Messiah is just baiting it?
We saw that with the Make It Rain in the keg, and it wasn't Messiah. It was a different matchup, but that is a possibility, and it is something that you do have to consider. And it's gonna feel really bad to lose your Trundle to it because there is nothing on the side of MacLogan that is gonna be able to save this Trundle here.
So I guess sort of the awkward part is that if this Zed does get to hit you twice and go up to a 6/5, you're never killing it with the Trundle anyway, unless you can get to turn 8 safely. But you are sort of setting yourself up for an awkward turn 6. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is correct to... But it never works out, right? He always has Pale Cascade.
Do you return the bluff? If it's a bluff, do you bluff that you have a Flash Freeze?
The problem is that Flash Freeze isn't that hard of a punish because you still don't lose the Zed.
Yeah, yep.
And it looks like we are just going to let this turn into a 6/5.
Yep.
So theoretically, turn 6 we Catalyst, turn 8 we get down. Harsh Winds probably to not die. Then we get down the Pillar. We get to actually challenge the Zed. But then we're still losing our Trundle to a Pale Cascade at that point.
Yeah.
We'll at least get to kill the Zed at least. So some considerations made here. It is going to look a little bit awkward for the time being.
Who needs Lee Sin when you're about to have an overwhelmed Zed hitting the board? Or maybe we'll see here by the next turn.
This is why you play Troll Chant.
Yeah, yep. Troll Chant's so good in this deck. And, I mean, one of the important things with War Mothers is, sometimes, especially in the beginning of the game, you might not have a whole lot of units on board. So the units that you do have, you want to keep them. And that's what Troll Chant does. Troll Chant allows you to make really efficient trades, and especially in a case like this Lee Sin here, that would do wonders. But unfortunately, there was no Troll Chant there to prevent that level up. And we're going to be behind a lot now on the side of MacLogan. This is going to be a rough one to come back from. But we draw more ramp. Jesus. This is honestly too much. Like, this is, you don't want this much ramp. Too much. Deck, stop. Stop giving me ramp.
I've had enough of it. I mean, so this does get you into turn 8 on the next turn, though, which is what you wanted. Granted, the extra blocker is nice. You really only need to be at turn 8 for 1 turn, so you actually can just throw out these wording stones as blockers next turn, not feel too bad about that. But overall, not a terrible position for MacLogan. It kind of depends on if a Lee Sin comes down anytime soon. Spell Shield onto the Zed, I don't think means anything. It is a little bit rough just because this is only a 7 attack Trundle that we're representing. So, if there is some kind of Pale Cascade coming out, then we are at risk of not actually killing the Zed on the following attack turn.
Yeah, and the Spell Shield out on the Zed. So, I mean, I think Messiah really just saying, all right, I'm all in on this Zed right now. I mean, there could be a Lee Sin in hand, but I don't think we're worried about Lee Sin. We're just worried about getting this game ended with the Zed. Harsh Winds could prevent some of that.
It can't because Harsh Winds doesn't get through Spell Shield.
And yeah.
The Zed Shadow, because it's leveled, is also going to have Spell Shield.
Yeah. This is going to be rough for MacLogan to navigate around here. We'll see. I mean, you got to think Messiah probably going for the open attack here as well, unless we do get something like a Zenith Blade coming down here with the Daybreak. Jesus, God. Why? So
Look,
much
man,
ramp.
This is the downside of playing ramp. Sometimes you do just get hands like this.
Yeah, this feels really bad. I mean, and the unfortunate part too is, and this is one of the most common situations with War Mothers, you're in a situation where you obviously want to play War Mothers. That's the point of the deck. War Mothers is a really good card, but you need to have good tempo already established, or at least not be behind so much in tempo that you can't play it. And I think we're in a situation where that might be what happens here. I don't think we're ever going to get a shot to get this War Mothers down because we're going to have to worry a whole hell of a lot more about just staying alive right now versus what is a very big boy in this Zed right now.
And without any large units in hand, this Revitalizing Roar really doesn't get much done. Like, yeah, maybe we'd have 10 mana crystals on the following turn. I don't think that's going to happen. We are probably going to lose both of our wording stones here. But even if you had the 10, I mean, what, we gain 5 off a Hearthguard?
Yeah, doesn't feel too great. No Tryndamere or anything like that in hand right now. And it looks like you're right. We are going to sacrifice the wording stone to the gods. So it saves us 6 health right now. Man, even the Zed clone has a spell shield. That feels bad.
Yeah, that's an awkward one.
Jesus. Yeah, wait, doesn't he live? Because ephemeral, it's a spell, right? It stays. That's how that works. That would be nice.
That would be wild.
That would be crazy. But looks like we are at least going to level up the Trundle, and it's about all you can hope for at this point in the game. We're going to go down to, Jesus, math is hard. That would be 10. We'll have 8 mana next turn?
Yeah, we'll have 11 total.
So we would have 9 if we go for the Catalyst of Aeons to maybe try to get like War Mothers off, but that's...
I mean, I think War Mothers might be your only...
Just hope to high roll?
Yeah. And like I had mentioned, this is still an awkward spot because your Trundle is only lining up its health or its attack exactly with the Zed. You do only have 2 8-cost cards to behold. Mm-hmm. So if there is, that Pale Cascade that we've been really worried about because it was hyper telegraphed on the first Zed attack, then you still don't get to kill the Zed.
Yeah, wow. This is such a feels bad hand on the side of MacLogan. Just absolutely nothing as far as what you want in this matchup. I mean, yeah, plenty of ramp. If this was a burn aggro deck on the side of Messiah, sure, great. Give me some Catalyst Vans. Give me all this nice heal. Give me this Harsh Winds. Give me all these nice things for act. Nope, not against this deck. Instead, we have this Zed that's literally been on board since turn 3, and it ain't getting any smaller.
All right, Vile Feast at least gets to pop the spell shield so that we can Harsh Winds it next turn. I mean, there's also a very good chance that the Vile Feast to pop the spell shield does just get notified. There's really not a lot of targets for that card in MacLogan's deck, so I definitely wouldn't blame Messiah if he's in a situation where it's see, notify target, notify it, just because there's no other way that this card is getting value. And yeah, we do have to actually just go for this potential kill onto the Zed. It's scary. It's a scary situation.
Wow. Yeah, this Trundle might come in pretty big if we are able to get rid of this Zed. Looks like we are just gonna pop the spell shield openly here.
So let's see what this looks like.
Huh.
Because I think you're actually fine to just sort of pass and play on defense. Because your Trundle at the moment does survive the Zed hit. And I'd rather lose my Trundle while blocking the Zed than attacking into the Zed.
Well, we'll see if this works out for MacLogan. I'll see if Messiah has anything in response to this Vile Feast coming out. I don't imagine there will be a response. Messiah probably thinking, okay, why the heck is MacLogan just passing priority right now, essentially, and playing this Vile Feast to do nothing when he could have just challenged it with the Trundle, which we did see on board. But the meditation coming out could have a deny. We could have a Nopify would be great here, which you got to think there's probably one in his hand by now. And it looks like the Vile Feast will go ahead and get through for the time being.
All right, so now we've got Harsh Winds back online. This does mean that War Mothers is back on the table for sort of our next attack turn.
Yeah, and it's it's funny when you're playing War Mothers too. I feel like you really got to think like 2 or 3 or sometimes even 4 turns out. Like, okay, how am I going to maneuver the mana in my hand and the cards that I can play and not play to still have 12 mana on a turn and not completely just get blown out by my opponent? And in this situation with MacLogan, it's a similar deal. I mean, we need to be able to live through this attack and get this War Mothers down. But the other thing, all right, we get War Mothers down. Deny.
Yeah, basically.
Like, all right, bye-bye. Like, no more. And by now, especially after a deep meditation, yeah, I don't think we're getting this War Mother's Call off. I mean, to get it off against this deck, you'd probably need, like, back-to-back turns of War Mothers just to get the first one out and then play one on your attack turn and just hope it goes through.
Yeah, which is part of the reason that they actually do play 3 copies of the card.
Yep.
But, generally you want it to pave the way for maybe a Vengeance to actually kill the Zed or the Lee Sin, or an Atrocity to try and end the game. But, I mean, MacLogan just doesn't really have a great backup card after the Deny does get baited out by the War Mothers. And now with, Overwhelmed down onto the Lee Sin, the Zed still hasn't gone, isn't going anywhere. I do think that Messiah is still just in a really strong position.
Yeah, this is looking really bad for MacLogan. And Lee Sin is on his way to getting leveled up now. We have a Lee Sin with Overwhelm on top of a 6/7 Zed. It's not every day that you actually, with this Zed Lee Sin deck, get both of those units on board that big.
I actually don't understand this Avalanche because it takes one of our Zed blockers off the table.
Yeah, I agree.
And also makes it so that our Trundle can't block the Zed. And doesn't pop the barrier on a Lee Sin.
Well, I mean, you have the Harsh Winds.
Yeah.
So you can still block everything with the Harsh Winds. I don't know if this is specifically so that we trade better with the Lee Sin, if it decides to attack as well. But there's going to be a barrier, so I don't think that's going to matter.
I think you just gem the Zed so that it heals itself out of range of getting blocked by the units on a Harsh Winds.
Mm-hmm.
That gives the Lee Sin barrier. And we're just kind of Gucci from there, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially knowing what's in MacLogan's hand. Obviously, Messiah doesn't, so probably going to play this a little safer. It looks like we are going to go with the gem, like you mentioned. But yeah, I don't think there's any way Messiah would have to royally screw something up to lose this game, I think, at this point. And yeah, wow, okay, even gonna go. Are we just going for? No, we can't. There's no lethal, is there?
Yeah, there's lethal if you buff up the Zed or Lee Sin, because the Lee Sin has Overwhelm.
Yeah, wait, are we gonna? Is this gonna be enough spells for the level up of the Lee Sin? Is that what's happening? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, even if it wasn't, I think you were representing lethal, because I think it was 11 damage.
The Zed, yeah, plus the Overwhelm.
Represented.
Yeah, that would have been 8 plus.
Yeah, so now it
is
is
easy. Yeah,
a lot. But because the gem didn't come out onto the Zed and instead came out onto the Lee Sin, now you need something like a Pale Cascade or a Guiding Touch to save the Zed from the Trundle. Or,
Yeah.
I mean, Pale Cascade actually just ends the game through the
clone.
Zed. Yeah,
Yep.
so...
Well, we'll see if we have the Pale Cascade. Pale Cascade. Oh my god. This card. This card. What doesn't this card do?
Yeah, I mean, this is a card that was hyper telegraphed on like turn 4.
Wait, what? I guess that still does the
So
same
it's still
thing.
4 damage, yeah.
I was like, wait a second, why isn't this on the clone? But it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, alright, Messiah taking it there. And Pale Cascade, I was going to mention this earlier. God damn, is this card good. I mean, and I think we've talked about this before in the past as well. You know what? Maybe that's my hot take now that I think about it. Maybe that card gets a change.
Oh, Pale Cascade?
That card is so good.
That's a pretty cold take.
Oh, what? Do you think everybody thinks that? Really?
Yeah, from what I've seen on Twitter.
Yeah, okay. Because I think that Pale Cascade, the biggest problem with Pale Cascade isn't just that it's really good, but just I think it screams power creep on a lot of those other 2-cost cards. Like we were talking about Sharp Sight and Transfusion. All of those 2-cost buff cards kind of seem out of whack and out of balance right now. And I think it's because of Pale Cascade. It's just like, nah, draw 1 plus you get a buff. Like, nah, that ain't broken. This is fine. We have game 2, though. MacLogan going undefeated during Swiss, but losing the first game here to Messiah in the top 4 of OLS 12. Now we have a little bit of War Mothers again versus the TF Swain on the side of Messiah. We'll see if we get a little bit better of a hand. This time, no ramp. I repeat, no ramp. We had all the ramp in the world first game, and we got nothing. Feels a little bad. There it is. All right.
Complain and ye shall receive. The age-old testament of card game players. All you have to do is yell at your deck about not getting any ramp, and the Warding Stone will show up just on time.
Just talk about Yu-Gi-Oh! For a second, and the heart of the cards will find you, and you will draw what you need. Warding Stone's going to do that. And you know, honestly, we were talking about Trundle being a little bit, too powerful earlier as well, possibly receiving some sort of attention in the patch. I don't mind if they reduce his power level a little bit because it still feels good to Wording Stones into Trundle on turn 5, even if he was a little bit smaller or if he just wasn't as strong or whatever. It's just a good overall curve. Wording Stones into a 5-drop like Trundle just feels really, really good, and that's what this deck tries to do game after game. And that's what we're seeing here until we get a Ravenous Flock after this stun. That will put an end to that immediately.
Yeah, look at you trying to ramp. Not on my watch. Granted, I mean, MacLogan, Avalanche is a pretty good turn 4, or you could just draw another Wording Stone. An open attack out of Messiah really isn't the end of the world. Oh no, 3 damage. I will accidentally get that back later on with a Catalyst of Aeons. So yeah, just going to go ahead and redevelop the wording. I don't think you want to commit another stun Flock here. Instead, yeah, just going to give me more food for an Avalanche a little bit later. Hell, I could Avalanche right now.
Yeah, Avalanche. And so I've been playing a little bit more with... I've actually been playing War Mothers a lot lately. And Avalanche seems to be getting crazy value right now. It's really, really, really good. And I feel like we always go through different metagames where one version of the format will just be Avalanche is terrible, nobody plays it, and then suddenly next format some changes are made, some tweaks are made, a patch comes out, Avalanche is freaking amazingly broken almost, just because of the AoE damage that it provides. And right now anyways, in this format, what we're dealing with I say format because I'm used to Yu-Gi-Oh, this metagame that we're currently in, it seems like it gets work done, and you can see on a board right here too, it's going to continue to get work done. If we play the Avalanche, we might go with the Unspeakable Horror, it looks like, instead.
Yeah, Avalanching with Trundle on board against a Noxus deck is always a little bit sketchy. He's supposed to be really hard to remove, so if you do just set him up for a 1-mana Flock or even one of the executes without having a little bit more getting done on the side of your opponent, it is going to feel pretty bad. But yeah, I think you're fine to just pass this one back over.
That's a really good idea in chat. I 100% agree with that one. Take away the health gain on Pale Cascade. I think that would make it perfectly balanced.
I just want to see some love from a boy Transfusion.
Oh, man. +3/+2. Would that do it?
That's a lot for
Yeah.
a 2-mana card.
Yeah, that might be a little too much.
All of a sudden, we're going to see it back in aggro.
Yeah, yeah, that would definitely throw it in aggro.
Like, oh, this is my 4/4 crackshot Corsair, don't you know?
Don't you know? On turn 2, Jesus. Oh man. And all right, we got the Swain going in here that is looking to potentially just get blocked out by the Trundle, which means I imagine there's some sort of follow-up to kill the Trundle if that does indeed happen. Looks like we're going to maintain the Wording Stone's health as much as possible as well. Just blocking the Spiderland token. Not worried about taking the additional 5 damage here. And this will also make the Swain vulnerable to an Avalanche, Trundle would also survive the Avalanche. Now, again, I imagine Messiah has some sort of removal for this Trundle, whether it be another Flock or possibly, Death's Hand or Noxy Fervor or, whatever combination of removal. But if we are able to get that out first, this is an amazing Avalanche. Like, amazing.
And that's why I didn't want to proactively Avalanche. You did want to force your opponent to do something to get damage down onto the Trundle, and the Swain attack is what forces it out. Yeah, as you had mentioned, now that's in range, and even if Messiah is able to level the Swain in response, we have the unspeakable horror to pick off that one last bit of HP.
Oh, wow, the juiciness. I think do you pass and just get the regen? Because does your opponent have to do something because of the regen here?
I think so.
I think you might have just been able to pass and then force out the removal there.
Especially because you then get to level your Trundle by playing the Pillar.
Yeah.
So it does have just a little bit more health going on for it, but I mean, I guess
either way, this is good.
Yeah, Messiah's or MacLogan rather, is just kind of speedrunning the process, saying there's no way that you're actually ending the turn without this happening. But now the unspeakable horror gonna come out onto the keg, perhaps.
Yeah, because you know what? Why? Oh wait, no, it won't matter because you're still gonna die to the Avalanche.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I think you just let this go.
Yeah. No unspeakable horror today. I like how everybody we're like, yeah, kill the kit. Wait, nope, never mind. Back up.
Yeah, there is still an Avalanche that'll wipe that out. You would be looking a little bit goofy there.
And rip Avalanche to touch on some of the older days again, like we talked about earlier. Avalanche used to deal 2 damage to both players' faces. You want to talk about burn. Jesus. Imagine that now. That would be insane.
But here comes Trundle number 2. And 2 pillars are actually pretty scary against this TF Swain deck. Not only because, I can then consistently be able to kill your Leviathans because this will be an 8-attack Trundle thanks to the War Mother's Call, but because your Leviathan never gets to push through any amount of damage.
Alright, well, we still have a Trundle, and we also have a leveled up Trundle on the following turn, and we also have a lot more cards than our opponent, and we also have a War Mother's Call. So to me, this is success. This spells success for MacLogan. We'll see if we can get the War Mothers in the next, not the next 2 turns, maybe 3 turns from now. Ooh, okay.
I understand why Messiah had to think so long about this. So now we're actually not leveling the Trundle because we are only going into 7 mana this turn.
Yeah.
So a little bit of a feels bad for MacLogan and does find the Catalyst just a turn too late. But the Catalyst does turn on War Mothers for the following turn.
Yeah, and that is a great pickup. This is when you do want the Catalysts in play. Going to try to play around that turn 9 there with 3 spell mana for War Mothers. So looks like the draw is kind of lining up right for MacLogan here. Even as they try, if we get this War Mothers online and then we have 2 Atrocities in hand, we can just get 2 big units and end the game. But it looks like, all right, we're not going to attack yet. Going to play the Catalyst first, see what our opponent is willing to do, if anything. That's hard to just pass back over on the side of Messiah. All right, looks like the Petty Officer is going to come down. I feel like, yeah, you still attack here.
Yeah, get in there.
Do it up.
What are you afraid
about?
of? A Ravenous Flock? I don't care. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, this is spectacular going into Messiah's attack turn here because we'll able to... Messiah has to make the first move. And then MacLogan will be able to get this Ice Pillar down to kind of pass priority back over to Messiah if Messiah doesn't open attack. Which means Messiah very well, because we are going into turn 8 for Messiah. Could very well have a Leviathan, which would not be too hot for MacLogan. But either way, this will likely lead to a War Mother's Call coming out after the pillar. And this is, like I was talking about earlier, this is a good spot, it looks like, to play it because MacLogan is not too far behind on tempo. So it's really going to depend on what Messiah opens up with here, whether they're going to attack, whether they're going to summon a Leviathan, or even develop even a wider board.
I'm trying to think if there's any way that Messiah just like has lethal between Leviathan, Riptide, Noxian Fervor kind of stuff happening, and I don't think there is. Leviathan's probably like Leviathan Noxian Fervor is probably about as close as he could come, but I don't think that actually works through the Unspeakable Horror.
No way. This is a okay. So actually,
double flock bait. No,
yeah, I was gonna say. Wild. So I think Messiah is opting to go really wide here, possibly just going in for as much damage as possible. Yeah, it looks like that is the case, and this is dangerous for MacLogan. I think we might still see the War Mothers, but it's going to be close.
I don't... It is rough. Like, you can save a lot of damage if you just decide not to War Mothers this turn. Like, you could go up and stay at 12 life. And it looks like that is what he wants to do here.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, on the side of Messiah, if we are going for attack like this does kind of scream aggression. And if your opponent is screaming aggression, that means they might actually have a way to go ahead and just aggro you down in the next couple of turns. So it looks like MacLogan kind of recognizing that and saying, okay, I'm not going to give Messiah the opportunity to go ahead and deal all this damage to my face. And this pillar also, very crucially, if there is a Riptide like you were talking about, Boulevard, this pillar can eat up a lot of those hits, potentially even saving the Trundle. But Trundle at 4 health is still at risk of dying for sure.
Okay, he is not looking phenomenal right now, but I mean, I don't think there's anything that stops him from getting down the War Mothers and maintaining at least one pillar on board.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there it is. Yep, and there's a full clear, perfect clear.
Oh, yeah, that is the 4-2-1. That is as good as it gets.
Feels bad because we could have gotten down another pillar if the Riptide didn't come down this turn, and then there's no way that Trundle's dying. But
yeah,
feels bad. I mean, do you ever play the Atrocity in response there to kill something, or no? Because those are dead right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're really worried about that because you do still get down the pillar this turn, followed by the War Mothers on the following turn. Just so, like, I mean, if I hit a Tryndamere, then I have lethal on the following turn with Atrocity.
Yeah. Yeah, and that Cygnus off of the Unspeakable Horror as well. Not the best pickup, but there might be, depending on what's drawn, some elusive shenanigans with, a big unit plus Cygnus plus Atrocity equals game. Who knows? We don't know. Maybe that happens. I don't know, man. I think that would actually, I think that's a path to victory here on the side of MacLogan. So we'll see if that's the route we end up going. We do get another Trundle with this War Mothers now playing it on our attack turn. So this will definitely help. We'll see if he goes in for the attack. I imagine not, because this Riptide will be able to ooh, that feels bad. Wait, 1, 2, and the Trundle not quite big enough to deal the 8 damage either to the Leviathan, it looks like.
No, but he's not in any trouble per se. He is going to have another blocker through this War Mother's Call, and he's already seen 2 Wording Stones, so he should be getting a decent amount of hits from here on out. As well as just, he has the Harsh Winds. I don't think he's realistically in any danger of dying. The double Atrocity should be all it takes to clean things up. A lot of times when we talk about the Endure Spiders deck being favored against TF Swain, it's because they don't have great Atrocity answers. They don't have a way to kill an undamaged unit. So you just start off the turn with that, and you're looking at lethal.
There it is. There's the Alpha Wild Claw we were talking about earlier. Gotta love to see it. The key card in the deck, the Alpha Wild Claw. And now, suddenly, these 2 Atrocity seem to be looking pretty juicy. And this is very much either player's game at this point. Getting something down like a Swain on the side of Messiah could be very, very useful. We could kill the Swain or the Leviathan with an Atrocity. We could... This is going to be very difficult, I think, for both players to navigate here in the next couple of turns. And we have this wild card of the Cygnus. I just want to see this Cygnus come down on the next attack turn for MacLogan and have
very well
that,
could.
yeah, and have that end the game. Like, that's gonna be great.
I think if you want to go, okay, he actually does play the pillar. I was gonna say if you want to go balls to the wall next turn, you start off with Atrocity on a stunned unit, then play Cygnus.
Yeah. Yeah, and so one of the things with Alpha Wildclaw too is like, so this card is good. I mean, if you see it right here, it lines up so well with Swain. It has 7 attack. That's really crucial in being able to trade with Swain. So suddenly Swain is basically a useless attacker unless, Messiah can either stun the Wildclaw or get rid of it somehow. And yeah, it's just it's a pretty damn good card.
Looks like he's got something to try and stun at least one unit. But like we had mentioned, the Harsh Winds completely turns off any hopes of Messiah actually winning this turn.
Well, yep, there's the Death's Hand. Looks like, so doing it on the Trundle is interesting. Okay, wow. So actually just going for the Atrocity now onto the Swain to avoid the stun on the Trundle. Huh.
Well, no, it would stun the Alpha Wild.
Oh, sorry, it would stun the Alpha Wild card, so just...
Which is why I'm a little surprised to be throwing it off now, because the Wild Claw would be stunned anyway. Now it's just going to be gone. I feel like I would rather wait to see how my opponent challenges the pillars.
Yeah, that just seems like a weird choice to go use the Atrocity there. I guess maybe recognizing we're never using the Atrocity otherwise. Maybe that's the case.
Maybe. It does also... Here's where things get weird. One, it does also take us off of Harsh Winds. And two, now I think that Messiah is just going to attack the pillars with his Riptide Rex and Twisted Fate, attack with the Leviathan, and then MacLogan either has to take 4 damage from the Spiderling blocking or lose his Trundle.
Yeah, that's so weird that we didn't go with the Harsh Winds route there. It seems like a much better utilization of the 6-man.
Oh, I really like challenging the pillar with the Twisted Fate, and going with the Leviathan. Saying
he found it.
Yeah. I had kind of imagined that's why we softened up the Trundle in the first place.
It was a misclick. Boulevard.
Okay,
it was a misclick.
Pulls it back.
So, yeah, and I mean, we technically don't have to block this, but then it puts us at 1 at the start of the turn after the Leviathan goes off. So, oof. Yeah, I even this feels bad putting you at 2. I mean, there's still a lot of potential things that could happen here. Noxian Fervor. There is Noxian. We have confirmed Noxian Fervor in this deck, right?
You do at least have this Catalyst to sort of quote unquote negate the Noxian Fervor.
No, Noxian
you meant if
Fervor.
It came out there.
No, this one does not. No, I'm just trying to figure out because we always think Noxian Fervor is in the deck when it's not now.
Oh, okay.
And this one is not playing Noxian Fervor.
Okay.
So there actually is no concern other than, I guess, to make it rain, but that's a high roll. So
yeah.
Okay, so now getting a Ladros, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie. And come on, play the Cygnus. Atrocity. Cygnus.
I think he's just swapping around the ordering.
Play Cygnus.
Oh no, it looks like he is going for the Cygnus.
Play. Yes. Oh, let's go. Ever since I saw that card in hand, wanted him to win the game with it. Looks like that is exactly what we're gonna get here.
So now you get the pillar to pull the Riptide and the Leviathan. That does mean that you're representing, I think, 6 overwhelm damage onto the Twisted Fate, as well as the 14 elusive, as well as the Atrocity that you have next turn.
Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. So plenty of damage here by MacLogan. So as much as we might have been concerned about that Atrocity onto the Swain,
you didn't have to do this though, right? Like on the open attack, you still had pull the other units to the side, threaten the lethal with the overwhelm and the fearsome.
So it looks like we have confirmed we're going to have a WhatAmI, a wild WhatAmI appears in the finals. So
I guess that would have been one-off lethal. So
WhatAmI killing it in tournaments lately. The pulling of the 2 pillars plus the overwhelm?
Yeah, because the block on the Twisted Fate, I believe, puts you at 6 damage from the Trundle, 9 from the Ladros. Does mean it's only 15. Like, yeah, you have the Atrocity on the following turn, but I think he's going for the kill here.
Wait. That's 6, 9, 15. No, that's what?
Eh?
Is that not game if he pulls the...
Oh, if he pulls the 2 units now. I was saying before the Cygnus came down.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, no, we need the Cygnus.
Yeah.
This deck does not win without Cygnus.
Line up your pillars. There's no reason. Yeah, there you go.
There we go.
He's been worrying me here.
Yeah, it's some questionable decisions. So, yep, but yeah, like I said, confirm what am I in the finals. So it looks like MacLogan going to go ahead and take this game. So we are going to go ahead and get to a game 3 here to decide who will get the honors of taking on not just the Fight Night champion, but now at least second place, making it to the finals here in What Am I? So this should be pretty interesting.
Whoa, forget about Fight Night. The 2-time OLS champion. What am I?
Yeah, see, we know the stats that matter here. It's how many OLSs have you won lately, all right? Come on. Let's be honest. Good stuff, good stuff. So let's go ahead. We now have a TF Swain mirror match, baby. We couldn't have asked for a better game 3. Let's go ahead and see how this one turns out. I'm going to go out on a limb and, as per usual, say who draws the first Riptide. Probably going to have a higher percentage chance of winning, but usually can't keep it in the first hand as much as you might like to have it on turn 8.
That's crazy. If it comes down, if the whole matchup is determined who gets it first, I'm keeping it.
Yeah, yeah, I know, right?
I don't care if it costs 8 mana. I got it on deck, baby. I don't think it's that cut and dry. I think that there's a lot of room for either player to sort of out aggro the other one depending on how these early hands line up.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, especially with TF Swain, that's one of the advantages of TF Swain is being able to go wide on board versus so many different decks with things like House Spider, Dreadway Deckhand, Petty Officer, Arachnoid Sentry for the tempo. So lots of options here for either player to go the aggressive route. But I think the only card I typically consider keeping in my first hand, which sounds weird, that's really expensive, is Ruination in one very specific matchup, and it's usually when I'm going against, if I have a control deck and I'm playing like a mid-range Demacia deck. I'm like always playing to a turn 6 Ruination, like almost no matter what, unless my opponent plays around it. Trophy tier list. Trophy tier list.
Yeah, as in, like, I guess, like, which tournament is the most prestigious?
Oh.
Like, which wins matter the most?
That would entail... You know what that would entail, though? That would entail us catching up with who's won every tournament.
Yeah.
And that's hard. That's a big undertaking. Like, I could just blatantly rank, like, what's the most important tournament going down the list. But... Or not necessarily important. They're all important, okay? Every tournament's important, everybody.
That's not true. I can make this tier list. Don't worry.
but we can put that together, right? But I guess it's really... I want to know who has won those tournaments as well, right?
We would 100% hurt some feelings because there have been a couple of team invitationals at this point, and we're not putting them all equal.
Not every tournament was created equal, okay? I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I love the fact that the community has so many tournaments in the first place. So the fact that we have the opportunity to not just play in these, but us, myself and Boulevard casting them is absolutely amazing. But this, man, you saying that really makes me want to catch up on who's won every tournament, though, and then also put that tier list together, and then duck and cover as everybody comments on the YouTube video to come with, my tournament's important. I promise you it is.
I mean, I definitely started to think about that when we were gearing up and doing research for the Ascent of Targon Invitational. And I kept asking about Guardia, and like I would ask the EU caster, and they'd be like, "Yeah, Guardia's won a bunch of tournaments." I'm like, "That's cool. Can you name any of them?"
Yeah, he won.
And they're like, "Actually, I can't." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what I thought. We're all pretty sure he's won some stuff, but we can't name any of them."
He's won backyard tournament number 73.
Yeah, it's like, 78. What do you own? The backyard football 1995 PC champion. Like, oh, that's cool. Have you won a Runeterra tournament lately?
With that said, don't confuse that, anybody, with Guardia being bad, because Guardia's a great player.
Like I said, we're all sure that he's won something.
Yeah, like
none of us can name what it is.
I can confirm that he has topped a lot of duels of Runeterras and stuff like that. So,
but I mean, I feel like whenever we talk about players being good, we just kind of blanket say like, yeah, they've won a bunch of tournaments, and it's like, are you actually sure about that?
Yeah, no, and that's like me and you are usually in a position to be able to confirm people have won specific tournaments, or confirm that we've seen them top. Like, even if I can't remember, Guardia top, he got 4th place at Duels of Runeterra 13. I can tell you that I've casted enough of the duels of Runeterra to know that he has topped at least a couple of them. I don't know what number, but he has topped them. So, but yeah, no, that's a great idea, Zerum. So maybe that'll be quite the undertaking. Maybe we can do that together. Be interesting. We need to update. I need to find that spreadsheet that we have.
I don't know, man. Chat didn't ask me for it. And like you said, this is a big job.
Oh, so now you want all the flack to come back on me. I get it.
I think it'd be kind of funny, yeah.
So when I get shit on by the TOs for, no, my tournament's important.
I'll back you up. I'll back you up in the replies.
Yeah, great. You got me in the comments, bro.
Yeah.
Awesome. Sweet.
Yeah. Just trust me on that. Don't check me on it, but trust me on it.
Yeah, just don't look at the comments.
Yeah. Just trust that I'm in there having your back.
Oh, man. So, all right, back to this TF Swain mirror match that we got going on. And I want to try to, for a second here, maybe see what some of these differences are. So we got on the side of, let me pull up both of these decks. So we got Messiah. All right.
I told you, there's nothing super spicy in either of these lists. MacLogan had like a 1 of Revitalizing Roar in the War Mothers and a 1 of Culling Strike in the TF Swain.
Okay, I found something. MacLogan, not playing Petty Officer. None of them.
Okay, I mean, I don't think we're really seeing 3 Petty Officer out of a lot of people. We're still seeing a couple 2-ofs and 1-ofs, but I don't think 3 is like...
MacLogan also playing 2 House Spider.
Yeah, he's got 3 Petty Officer as well. Does Messiah.
Messiah playing 3 House Spiders. So Messiah going, it seems like anyways, and 3 Fortune Croaker for MacLogan, only 2 for Messiah. So it looks like MacLogan, okay, so if we really dig down here for a second to what these decks are doing, it seems like on the side of MacLogan going for a much more lengthy, control-oriented game with his Leviathan Swain, whereas... or TF Swain, I should say. I always say you know what? It's Leviathan Swain, okay? Messiah is going for the option to have more of an aggressive approach with things like the additional House Spider, like those 3 Petty Officer. Because those 3 Petty Officer do scream aggression. They scream going wide early on in the game. So definitely 2 different strategies. And I think that the later this game goes, that means that MacLogan might have a little bit of an advantage over Messiah here in this matchup.
The other thing to note is that MacLogan has 3 Noxian Fervor and Messiah doesn't play any. It seems like the one big difference is Messiah on the Petty Officers, MacLogan on the Fervors. 2.
There's 2 Fervors. And...
Messiah's list? There's some card that he's playing that he's not.
In MacLogan's.
In MacLogan's, yeah.
So, yeah, and hold on. There's other spells too, though, right? So there's a Culling Strike in MacLogan's, and Messiah does not have that. There are 2 Scorched Earth, which Messiah also does not have. And... Oh, no, sorry. Messiah does have. They both are playing Scorched Earth. So it's interesting that they both decided to tech a little bit against those the landmarks instead of the guillotines there. So
that was probably not what you wanted your Make It Rain to do on the side of Messiah. Hit 2 units that are already dying. And then, I mean, the protection on the Petty Officer is cool, but it ain't all that.
Yeah, and we can kind of already see, based on the differences in the decks that we just went over, we see a Petty Officer and a Spider Token. Those 2 resources, like for the most part, the cards are equal right now, but those 2 individual resources are much less valuable than everything that we see in MacLogan's hand.
Yeah.
MacLogan's tools, I think, throughout this game are just going to be slightly, if ever so slightly, more useful than what Messiah has because of those early game options really not doing anything other than just acting as chump blockers and chip damage.
And Messiah now has to have... he's basically eating... Oh, no, never mind. He's not eating the Swain because he does have the Arachnoid Sentry, sort of the one card that is going to universally bail him out of it. Because if Messiah had just played something like another Petty Officer, I think MacLogan might have thrown out that Culling Strike to try and pave the way again for this fearsome attacker to get in, but doesn't get the opportunity as it is going to be stunned out. And now we're hanging on to that 3 spell mana. Just have to make sure that we can actually float that into turn 8 to be able to get down the Riptide Rex, and I don't think MacLogan's going to really have any problem doing that.
No, I don't think so either. And I was going to say, there might be a way for Messiah to kind of start to pull the game more in their direction if Messiah had something like a Leviathan or a Riptide that MacLogan couldn't return. And MacLogan, we already see the Riptide and the Leviathan. So even if both players have both those cards, again, I'm still going to give the slight edge to MacLogan with these additional resources, things like Fervor and this Culling Strike that we see here as well. Now, I don't think Messiah's Swain is leveled.
I also don't think so.
It'd be interesting to see if Messiah plays around the Culling Strike and actually waits to get the Swain down. Because that would be a huge, like, that'll swing the game hugely in MacLogan's favor if Messiah gets a Swain down at 3 attack and the Culling Strike kills it. Oh. I thought he used a Culling Strike.
That's a little interesting to me. Going for this onto the Zapsrafen rather than the Arachnoid Sentry, just because, yeah, you want to deal with the elusive, but the Arachnoid Sentry represents a Swain blocker. And if you kill that, you still stun the Zapsrafen, and then you have a pretty good shot at actually just killing the board with the Swain next turn, unless there is either A, another Arachnoid Sentry coming down right this second, or B, another Petty Officer.
Yeah, I got to agree with you. The open attack would have been pretty big here. And unfortunately for MacLogan, not going to be able to do that now. But we do get the Leviathan, so we'll see if Messiah has a return 8-drop of their own.
Better be Death's Hand Riptide Rex.
Yeah,
but
that's...
even if Death's Hand comes out to start the turn, we just respond with the Culling Strike and push a lot of damage.
Yeah. And I'm very curious to see what Messiah... If Messiah actually doesn't have an 8-drop here, that is incredibly bad. Incredibly bad. Yeah, what is this? What do we got on the side of Messiah? It doesn't look like... All right, nope, this is going to be Death's Hand, and we are going to get a Riptide, it looks like.
I like responding with Culling Strike to the Death's Hand and then going for an attack.
Yeah, just to get more damage from the Swain. I mean,
you're pushing like 12 damage with that play.
Yeah, it looks like that is going to be what MacLogan decides to do here. And yeah, that will push a lot. And I don't think, anyways, in the side of Messiah's deck, there's nothing really that they'll be able to do to respond to this attack with the Swain. So yeah, this is going to push through a whole ton of damage. I mean, there could be a Scorched Earth.
Yeah, but even if he does get off the Scorched Earth, that means he's not playing Riptide Rex.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And, you know, I was going to say something like a Make It Rain into a Scorched Earth. You know, they're not guillotines. They're Scorched Earths. So it feels really bad to not have a guillotine in this instance. Yep, there it is.
But that does mean the Riptide Rex doesn't come down. There's almost no way he gets it down next turn either.
Well, yeah, because so the most important thing there, too, is that MacLogan was able to bait out, or whether or not it was baited is arguable, I guess, but the Death's Hand, which is an activator for Riptide, it's got... Oh, okay, yeah, the Culling Strike's off the board now.
Yeah.
So that is one of the activators down, and there might just not be an activator. So that if that's the case, we know that there's one essentially dead card in hand in Riptide Rex if we don't see an activator come down this turn, which is definitely pretty big for MacLogan here, and we start to see the resources piling up a little bit more for MacLogan now.
And there's no activator that can come down for 1 mana. It would have to be the attack with the Swain, but does get the Leviathan Swain developed, and this is not something that MacLogan is really prepared to deal with. You know, it's... He doesn't have the mana to go Fervor Riptide. We'll have it on the following turn. I'm curious to see if he's going to block this Leviathan, or if Messiah even goes in with the Leviathan so that we can set up the Scorched Earth, because it's just going to be the pass, and I don't think anything gets stunned here.
Wow, so it looks like we... Oh, wait.
Yeah, we're just going to kill the Leviathan.
Yep. Basically trading exactly what Messiah just went ahead and did last turn. And going to get the Leviathan off the board, which is a big deal, right? I mean, you never want this Swain Leviathan combo to hit. This would, I imagine, level up the Swain as well. It might not get a full stun of the board, at least one, I imagine, but yeah, still not something that you want to go ahead and get through here. And Scorched Earth, honestly, if you have the opportunity in this matchup to use Scorched Earth on a Leviathan, that is the target. That's the target, right? Like, that's what you want to be Scorched Earthing. Yeah, sure, maybe Leviathan or Riptide, but... Riptide or Swain. But
no, chat didn't ask for tier lists on Scorched Earth targets, okay? They asked for tournament tier
lists. Oh, man. But, yeah, it's going to be Leviathan, especially with 3 in the deck. So you have 2 reliable ways to get rid of it, and otherwise you're using probably way too many Ravenous Flocks to get rid of it. But
so a big turning point here could be if Messiah has Death's Hand for this House Spider followed by a Riptide Rex.
Yeah. We did already see one come out, though, so I'm willing to bet that's not the case. He is playing 3. Did we see another one come out earlier?
I don't think so. But, I mean, it would have to be exactly Death's Hand. As we had mentioned, there's no Noxian Fervors in this deck. And, you know, obviously, like, Scorched Earth and Make It Rain and Ravenous Flock aren't going to stop the Spider from hitting. So, yeah, it is going to connect.
And, yeah, that Ravenous Flock in hand, though, would be able to go ahead and finish off this 4/4 Swain.
But if Messiah plays the Ravenous Flock to finish off the Swain, MacLogan can respond with the Ravenous Flock to clear the way for the 7 damage at face Riptide.
Yeah, and that would be lethal on the side of MacLogan. And even if something prevents that interaction from happening, we even have a salvage to start refueling a little bit, which we haven't seen out of Messiah just yet. Looks like Messiah really taking time to carefully consider this here. Obviously, like you said, does know that damage was already dealt this turn, and Riptide is a thing. Oh, well, all right. Riptide Lethal is no longer on the board.
Preparing for the Riptide still.
So, do you play the Ravenous and not just go Riptide here?
You're clearing out more targets so that you can push more damage and effectively also clear the board.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, so MacLogan is playing the Noxian Fervors that we keep questioning every deck, whether or not they're playing it. Well, MacLogan is playing it, so, yeah, if that's the case, I do think you're right, Boulevard. I think that if we are able to get Messiah down to 2 or 3 health, we're in a position where we can just top deck Noxian Fervor for the win. And we've only seen one get used so far, right? And there are only 2, so that is actually only one top deck. I don't know if I'm crazy about that then, if we're just playing to one single top deck.
Nah, I mean, you know, it just clears out I don't think that Ravenous Flock is really getting any other kind of value for the rest of the game.
Oh, looks like
might just play the Swain.
Yeah, that would be would definitely be interesting. I think considering it maybe just to guarantee a fearsome blocker for the other Swain coming down from Messiah, and yeah, wow, going with the Swain, no Riptide. And we'll get the return level up Swain here. So still a very interesting game. I mean, MacLogan very much in control in the driver's seat here, but Messiah, I mean, is definitely coming back. I mean, it's definitely a game still. It could be anybody's game. Messiah is one Riptide or Leviathan away from turning it back in their favor. Brachkata, thank you for the raid, my man. What's going on? Zeramis. God, I gotta ask him one day if he actually prefers Zeramis or Brachkata. Like, which one? Which one are we going with?
I'm pretty sure it's Zeramis because that's what he signs up for everything as. Like, you can't change Brachkata from being your in-game name as easily, but
yeah, it's like the Chad with Gavone, right? Like, same deal. So, yeah, Riot, come on, let's update that. We need to change names. What's really important in this card game? Okay.
Spectator mode.
Yeah, that. Yep, I agree. So we never mind, forget the name thing. So I take it all back. If it takes any effort away from Spectator, I don't want it. And yeah, just straight up trading here. This looks very much like a straight up mirror match. You're gonna have the Zaps Raven. Looks like a decent amount of refuel on the side of MacLogan, having the salvage in hand too. So we'll see if Messiah is able to get okay. Yep, we're gonna have the return Zaps Raven. This is a mirror match if I have ever seen one, I gotta say. So, Nola Gold. Also with the raid. Thanks, my man. How did the IQ tournament go? Hopefully it went well. You guys are just in time, too. We are about to... This is the top 4 semifinals. We got Messiah versus MacLogan. It's 1-1. The winner of this game gets to take on WhatAmI, the Fight Night winner of last night in the finals. So we are down for a spicy finals here, seeing if WhatAmI can go ahead and take home 2 tournament wins in a row.
And it would also be his 3rd OLS victory, which I think...
Thank you for
I
always
think we've had one 3-time winner. Look, man, it's the tournament he's playing it. You know, he's only won 1 fight night, but he's won 2 OLSs.
Oh, man.
Maybe he's won 2 fight nights. There's been like 13 fight nights. And I know he's been there before.
Oh, man. And, all right. So we'll see what MacLogan decides to do here. Oh, we're going to pass back over. So, again, very much in either player's hand. We just keep kind of trading things back and forth here. And wow, you were on top of that, Boulevard. I saw that message come up in chat, and your head went straight to read it. Like, we've been wanting to know about this forever.
Well, we finally got the story on Easy to Win, so...
Yeah, yeah, I know. We're going to, slowly but surely, we'll figure out everybody's name. How they want it pronounced, the origin, everything. All right, is there a tilde over certain letters? Like, what are we doing here? Playmaker, I like it. So, all right, we are Zap Spray Fins just going to trade here if we do go in for the attack. We still have this Riptide. So, we were talking about that Riptide being played earlier for potential lethal and just pushing damage. I think it was actually very smart for MacLogan to hold it back here because now it's actually going to get incredible value if MacLogan is able to get this off with something like Death's Hand this turn, which it's looking like that might be the case.
I think he's really considering getting down this Leviathan. We kind of know that Messiah doesn't have a Riptide Rex of his own, so you should be pretty safe to get down a Leviathan. The one concern, obviously, would be if Messiah has a return Leviathan and then has the Swain combo developed. But yeah, I think the Riptide is just a little bit safer, especially given that it will take out the Swain almost certainly. It'd be kind of wild if it didn't. And then, the Leviathan comes down. I'm at 18 life. You're going to be at, what, 2?
Yeah. Yeah, that's, and again, still playing, we have that one Noxian Fervor that we've been talking about throughout the game. We did have one played earlier. We got one left. If we're able to top it, that would end up being the win there. And I think, 1, 2, 3 hits. So that means, 4. That would put him at 2. So Messiah doesn't need to develop anything into the Riptide. Would still be at 2. But if we do develop a unit that has at least 3 health, then we kind of allow ourselves to be out of the range of that Noxian Fervor if that's the route that Messiah wants to go. But there's nothing like that. I mean, you'd have to play another Leviathan. You'd have to play another Riptide to actually get something that big.
All right, Petty Officer comes out. No, House Spider comes out. It lines it up so that the Riptide misses the Swain enough so that it lives.
Yeah,
we get down Leviathan after the fact. And then, we push 12, 15 damage. All of a sudden, our opponent's at 3.
Oh, yep, well, there's Leviathan.
Okay, here we go, Leviathan. Riptide Rex, do your thing.
Yeah, and this is pretty good value.
Or do you simply play your own Leviathan here?
I mean, your stuff's going to get stunned.
So the thing is, your stuff's going to get stunned, but you're not going to die. And then Leviathan still represents lethal at the end of the following turn.
Yeah, and what's unfortunate here is that there's another Leviathan in Messiah's hand. That Ravenous Flock that we can see it's a Leviathan. Or sorry, it's a Swain. It's a Leviathan. Yeah. Jesus, that would be another Leviathan.
This is a lot safer though.
Yeah.
Just clearing out some of the board, not playing as risky with your life total is going to put your opponent still, down into a similar range for the Leviathan to clean things up.
Well, here we go. We're getting all the shots off. We are going to get some stuns.
Yeah, we just wanted to get the stun off so that our opponent couldn't hit us with the Riptide Rex and force our Leviathan out. Because MacLogan still has the attack token, so the Zap Sprayfin is still going in here.
Yeah, which is still now going to put Messiah at that 2 that we were talking about. That threshold of 3 is what we're worried about here with this Noxian Fervor, if there is a Noxian Fervor.
I mean, the Leviathan represents the 3 damage as well. Whatever turn you can happen to get that down, because I do think that Messiah is going to spend the next turn developing the Swain. You play Leviathan, they don't kill you that turn, they die on the next one. This is looking all but wrapped up for MacLogan.
And, again, I know this seems like a really small difference when we were going over the decks a little bit earlier, but you can see, too, there's one extra card as far as card advantage is concerned on the side of MacLogan, and I think that is attributed to, again, the deck decisions here with more spells on the side of MacLogan.
I was going to say it was made by the drawing of Riptide Rex.
Well, yeah, I mean, back and forth, yeah, but I'm saying ultimately, because you can argue just bad trades back and forth, right?
Yeah.
I think ultimately what's forcing Messiah to take these poor trades, and now we're actually up by 2 cards, is that these spells, these cards that MacLogan has in deck, as opposed to Messiah, are just more overall valuable than some of the decisions that Messiah. But I imagine Messiah probably has an easier time versus things like aggro matchups and stuff like that. So obviously there's considerations to be made when deck building. But yeah, we'll see if we can close out here on the side of MacLogan. We've got 2 Leviathans, not just 1, but 2. Things are looking pretty good.
That's a lot of boats.
One more, we got a fleet. Oh, the other one died, didn't it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Did it, or did we not play it?
No, I think it got killed earlier.
These Swain TF matches are blending together.
It's literally just trading Leviathans and Riptides and
Yeah.
Swains back and forth. Like, once you hit turn 8, that's what happens. So, we do have the Arachnoid Sentry. This is good.
So I'm fine with the Arachnoid Sentry because we can still red card to push 1 damage this turn, which is effectively the same as pushing...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that the Leviathan is a little bit safer, just because next turn there is the potential for the Riptide from Messiah to come down and actually kill your Leviathan. Whereas this turn, they're on 5 mana. You know, worst case scenario is probably a Make It Rain to stun your Leviathan, and then going in for, what is that, 9, 12 damage? Yeah, I guess that is... Well, no, because I still have the blocker in the Riptide Rex. So it'd have to be 2 more damage spells out of Messiah in order to stun out the entire board for that Leviathan to be risky. But, you know, I don't mind this play either.
I like it. I think it's fine. I mean, like you said, the TF red card going to be enough to do it. We play the Leviathan next turn. We're good to go. There's no heal on the side of Messiah because it's Bilgewater Noxus, and that should be enough to close out the game on the side of MacLogan here with this Leviathan. So, yep, no response. Is there a way to randomly generate a star shaping?
No.
Just checking.
Not even close.
Just checking. I gotta ask these questions.
Well, okay, hold on. So let's Petty Officer. Gets us a random 1-drop. That gets us... Okay, so check it. Petty Officer gets us Mage Seeker Conservator. Mage Seeker Conservator gets us...
That gets a random last breath, right? So
no, it gets a
6
random
plus.
6 plus from a region other than Demacia. I mean, like, that could go and get us a heal spell. I think it's Ritual of Renewal.
Ritual of Renewal from Ionia. Yep. Okay, we got this. We got this.
But can we get Star Shaping?
Yeah, no, we can't get Star Shaping, but we can get Ritual. This is why I ask these questions, because now we know that there is an out for Messiah, and it is Ritual of Renewal. So we got this. Messiah has got this. I like the...
I'm literally trying to figure out if there is a way to get a spell that costs 6 or more that can generate you something to get you a Star Shaping.
Is there a way with the... Oh, you're saying, so after the Mage Seeker, is there another 1 cost follower that gets something?
Nothing that'd get us anywhere near that.
That's funny. The Petty Officer actually did come out too, and it gave a Targon unit. It's just a gem.
We were close.
We were so close to calling that one. Oh man. If only that got a Star Shaping, unfortunately. Gift giver, why don't you give the good gifts? You give the crappy gifts of gems.
I'm like sitting here staring at Hextech Transmogulator, like, does this get me a Star Shaping in any universe?
Oh god, what have I done? What have I done? I just completely messed with Boulevard's head now.
I'm hurting.
Pulling random cards out of nowhere.
I'm hurting.
We're watching like a Demacia mid-range matchup, and we're like, no, you don't understand. But if a Zed hits the field,
yeah,
because if we pull it from this and this and this,
I can't believe you made me think of this.
But that's when you know we're really good at remembering all the cards, because when we can go through 5 regions of random cards to get to the card that we need, this is great. It's not point. All right, Limbo has ended, I think, in a second. Just any minute now, we're gonna get this Leviathan down. And
yeah, even if Messiah's last 2 cards are a way to damage the Leviathan into an execute effect, we are just gonna open the next turn with another Leviathan, and there's no way that Messiah is gonna have the answer for that one as well.
Yeah, and what that means, ladies and gentlemen, for anybody just joining us from Nola Gold stream or Zeramis' stream, we have a victory on the side of MacLogan. So MacLogan and WhatAmI are going to be going head-to-head here in the finals for the Online League Series number 12. And more importantly, these two also already faced off in round 5. They were both undefeated. All right, MacLogan going to make it to the finals, and guess what? WhatAmI did, in fact, win the other semifinals game, so we are going to get a rematch between WhatAmI and MacLogan. So let's go ahead and get on into that game. Not in this video, though. I don't know why I said that. You guys are going to have to subscribe and turn on the bell to get notified when that video does go up. It's going to be a separate video. But yeah, just make sure you subscribe. Make sure you turn the bell on. That way you know when it goes up. Everybody stay healthy, stay positive. I hope this works for you, and peace out.